All right, it's catching up with Tommy Mac special edition with Killer Bees continues to roll on. We welcome in a legend, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, me and Bees, well, you're a few years younger than me.
I can say it.
I'm
50.
a few years younger than our guest. I remember I'm in high school watching him at the University of Miami, watching him with Cleveland, an icon in the pro football world. And Bernie Kosar joins us here on Catching Up. What's up, Bernie? How are you, man?
I'm feeling awesome. I'm great to be with you guys. And as the old man on the crew here, talking to a BC alum and a West Virginia alum, where I actually have a lot of my college and football scarring that happened from the Hail Flutie Pass many moons ago. I was
Bernie,
on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, we were just talking about that in the hall. I was like, I wonder if Bernie gets pissed off like every year. They got to show that thing every single year.
It's tired of it. And, well, you know what? Finally, I just hit 60 years old. So finally, in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life, the spiritual healing is really taking effect. And I'm getting past some of my anxieties on that game. But actually, T-Mac, you could probably really appreciate this is I don't get as grumpy about that game as one of our mutual friends, you know, Brian Brennan and Charlie Brennan.
Yes.
Brian Brennan actually gets grumpy about that BC Hurricane Hail Flutie Pass because everybody thinks in Cleveland that Brian Brennan was the guy who caught that pass. And he was already on the Browns at that point.
That's great. Yeah, Gerard Phelan made that catch. I remember watching that live. That was an incredible. You know, Bernie, we're going to get into the Browns, of course, and the Jags. Big game for both teams this weekend. Doing a little research on you. So I didn't know how you got into the supplemental draft, how you had to take extra credits to graduate, how you didn't want to go into the regular draft. I read where Houston was threatening to sue, and you're like, listen, I'm not going in the regular draft. I want to go to the Cleveland Browns. They had the #1 pick. They traded for it behind the scenes, under the radar, whatnot. But man, you're from Ohio. You fought for your hometown team. No wonder they love you. I was telling Bees, like, this guy fought for his hometown team, then delivered on the field, man. But that whole process, man, quite hairy for a little bit, I guess, huh?
Well, thanks for bringing it up. And actually, T-Mac, with Bees sitting right next to you, as a kind of a mommy's boy from Northeastern Ohio who loves or I'm proud where I grew up and wanted to be in that area of Northeast Ohio. It's really Pittsburgh, Northeast Ohio, West Virginia. I'm within an hour of WVU, and I actually instead of that Hail Flutie Pass happening, I actually wanted to go to Don Neyland and be a West Virginia guy. So it was ironic to be looking at you, Bees, here as T-Mac. You're asking that question because I really wouldn't have been to the University of Miami if I was more recruited in that area and stuff. So wanting to be at home, you know, it's kind of almost now what's happening in Appalachia right now in the manufacturing area of the Midwest. The manufacturing jobs, it's really been challenging like it is in 2023. It was really tough in the late 70s, early 80s and stuff. My family was steel workers. We are lower demographic, U.S. steel workers. The mills were closing. So I didn't think I was, and this is very appropriate, the three of us on the call here, not to suck up to you guys, but classic overachievers and stuff. I didn't think I was going to be a pro athlete. I mean, Bees, you guys were talking about some of your 40 speed and how you'd be a first round pick today. But back then, some of the 40 speed stuff, and you go to the third round and stuff, I didn't think I was going to be a pro player. So I went really quick to get my education at University of Miami, and getting that degree. Back then you had to get a degree to come out early to be able to come into the draft. So kind of being a mommy's boy, I was only 21 years old. I still could barely take care of myself, let alone at 21 years old. So to be able to play at home, bluntly, we all have our pride as older men right now. When we were younger men, you want to be respectful to our fathers. T-Mac, I feel a real bond with you, with the book you wrote and your relationship with your father.
Yeah, thanks,
so,
Bernie.
And my father's still with us. So, we have our pride in that, and we want to support our family. So, I wanted to come back and in a nice way be able to have them enjoy the cool things that I was enjoying. This is the 40-year anniversary of the national championship in Miami in 1983. It's the 30-year anniversary for me of the Super Bowl in 1993. In between was that Browns era, and it was a tough time there. So it was actually kind of cool that the Houston Oilers and the Minnesota Vikings and Commissioner Pete Rozelle were suing me, to thinking I got this big orchestrated, elaborate plan. And it really is. I just wanted to come home and have mom cook for me, and do my laundry and be able to play football with my hometown team. It wasn't rocket science.
Right. That is fantastic. What do you remember most about him, man?
I always used to think, why does a quarterback have number 20? That was like, I wanted to have that number. It was like when I was at the U, I was like, no quarterback ever had that number. And it was like, it stood out to me. I was like, this is a guy that wants to be himself. He is himself. And
and part of it for us guys is kind of overachievers. I mean, for the younger athletes out there, I'm not proud of this, but I barely could lift a $185. It caved my chest in. I ran a 5.5 40. So that ability to overcome and figure out how to get things done was something that I pride myself on. And as we get later in life, it's something that the resourcefulness that football taught you. It's really a life lesson on the field, but it's a great life lesson for off the field.
Yeah, no question about that. Well, you might have ran a slow 40, but you had a whip for an arm, brother. That was fun to watch. Me and Bees out in the hall, we were talking about the 80 Cleveland Browns. You guys had some ball players, man, on both sides of the ball, even on special teams with return man. I mean, man, you had quite the team.
Yeah,
it's almost like us in Tennessee, though. You guys in Denver.
Yeah. There's some similarity to that. Yeah, not in all one year, but
yeah, and for the resourcefulness of that, as I'm not propping today, but I got to go do something. So I'm holding my Dallas Super Bowl ring from '93. But it's not the wins. A lot of times we think about it is some of those tough games, and I said it in levity about the Hail Flutie pass, and it's late third quarter, early fourth quarter of life, and you're just barely able to talk about it. I actually say another joke that's decently factual, that in Cleveland we connect on a lot of our flights, and I have to connect through Denver a lot. So there's a masochist that's in charge of the gates in the Denver airport, and the Cleveland flight lands right next to the John Elway Steakhouse. So hey, hey, my brothers, it's only taken me 35 years to be able to walk by it and not want to throw up. So I'm maturing in my old age here.
I tell you what, though, you never mature. Like every year of the Super Bowl, because you get so close. We got close twice. You got close a few times. That stings still. Like I'm happy for the teams that are there. I'm pumped for the game and all that, but I wake up like so close, man.
You look at your finger like something's missing.
Wow. Wow, got goosebumps going through me in a decently sad way. But guys, us three can sadly relate that when we had our issues in those AFC Championship games, people say, "Hey, you're going to the Super Bowl next week or 2 weeks." Zero chance. Right. Zero chance.
No doubt about it. All right, Burns. So I know you're doing a lot these days. How are you pretty connected to the Browns? Obviously, you're up there. You watch them every week. I know you talk about them on a podcast. You got your podcast that you launched in 2022. Tell us about the 2023 Cleveland Browns and how you look at them. How impressive are they in your eyes?
Well, I'll tell you what, I I'm doing a lot of health and wellness now and taking care of myself after 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones, 100 concussions,
Yes. Wow.
14 seizures, last 2 seizures in a coma for 72 and 96 hours. Team Mac, if I would have done this call with you 6 years ago, I was quite a few ho-hos north of 320. I couldn't say cognitive. I couldn't enunciate, articulate, communicate any multiple syllable words. So to really, I used to I retired when you guys were going through your era in 1997. Yep. And I was on basically 50 type pills a day since then. So to have had that last seizure and 2000, hopefully last seizure in 2017, and the doctors tell me, hey, keep up with your prescriptions and protocols. And I kind of ran from them. So haven't done a pill in 5 years, and I've kind of developed a holistic way of kind of taking care of myself to cognitively be present. So, you know, Bees has heard me talk a little bit about some of the natural supplements and heck easy things I do with like Kosar's coffee and that. But the Cleveland Browns, unfortunately, need a lot of this health and wellness for the injuries that have happened this year. And I don't say that as a plug or a shameless segue into it, but, you know, to be, we lost the last 2 games on the road to the Rams in Denver after beating Pittsburgh and Baltimore and really looking good. We're still in nice playoff position, but heck, to be on Joe Flacco and to be, you know, 4 quarterbacks in right now and still be in the playoff mix like this, it's really actually pretty impressive to what Coach Stefanski has done right now. And I'm not saying this to you guys to be a homer, but Joe Flacco was on the couch 2 weeks ago.
No, I know. I know.
Dudes, check out the overhead copy of the first quarter. Bees, he's throwing skinny posts. Okay, the first third down with accuracy and timing and precision and velocity with arm talent like I dreamt about in the early 90s and late 80s. So massively impressed. And granted, you know, out in LA, no wind, weather was nice, but heck, he threw some gorgeous middle read seams to Harrison Bryant, to Coop and stuff. So, you know, he wants that post play back at the end of the game, but boy, he really showed for not being in the system a real good sense of timing. So it goes without saying that kind of helps a little balance there. We run the ball
with that defense you guys have. I mean,
unbelievable.
That's on pace to be one of the top defenses in NFL history with the stats, points allowed.
And Bees right on point with you know, Denzel Ward's coming back. That doesn't bode well with you know, with Trevor having an issue and with Kirk, you know, getting hurt in the Monday night game. With the Jim Schwartz man defense, obviously having a Denzel Ward makes it massively tougher for the opposing offense. There's unfortunately a bad stat for Jacksonville. The Browns have the top rated defense in the NFL at home. We were 30th on the road. That crowd noise that we have, you know, Team Mac, you know, when you get those ends, you know, can get off and that tackles are a little slower. That's a big difference. So Myles Garrett's, he's been impressive anywhere he plays, but boy, at home, he's been a one-man wrecking crew. So
I'll tell you. And they move him around. I mean, you'll see him over the center, over the guard, and outside. I mean, he's a menace no matter where he lines up. And our offensive line is banged up. I mean, Ezra Cleveland taking snaps at left tackle just in case. There could be some shaking up. We don't know, you know, as far as the health, but that defense is something else. I was reading on online, 27.6% on third down. The defense is. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. So it's going to be a tough fighting. How's the weather up there, Bern? What are we expecting come kickoff?
Great question, T Mac. And so we're looking at miserable Okay, miserable. So,
One word.
okay, no, but to you two guys will like it. Okay, it's
I
deep.
like that.
Oh, yeah, I would buy
guy. Yeah, you'll have stat pattern days. Okay, it's gonna be like that miserable 40 and 20-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, that's actually and I love. Okay, I'm a mutter. Okay, I'm incredibly slow. I run a 5.55 on fast surfaces and on slow surfaces. Yeah, I'm highly religious. I don't want to go to confession, so I lied earlier at a 5.5. Right. It's really a 5.55. Okay, but I run the same speed on any condition. You fast guys get slowed down in bad weather and stuff. So
you're slow.
You come back to the pack.
That's great. That is fantastic. All right, so how do the Browns? Go ahead.
But as you're asking me that, though, and as you guys are thinking about it, that bodes well for defensive guys.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well for Trevor Lawrence if he has a high ankle sprain and moving around. The pass rush, that's an issue. The crowd noise. I got to tell you, though, 1994, I got the Super Bowl with the Cowboys in 93. 1994. Honored to be signed by the great Don Shula. Yeah. And I am teammates with Don Shula, Dan Marino, having Coach Peterson as one of my teammates at the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
Okay. All right. And I'm solely talking about the wind, the weather, and Sunday's game with a possibly damaged Trevor Lawrence or a Beathard's shoulder issue or whoever you guys put back to a quarterback.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson is amazing. Okay. His ability to understand offense, his way to game plan, understanding if your left tackle's out or sore, he'll get that. He knows Myles Garrett. And what I love about Doug and why I really believe he's been successful, and he had such a great playing career to play double-digit years in the NFL. This is not a love fest. I'm not a marketing rep. This is not like I'm the quarterback. I'm not trying to stroke you guys with compliments and stuff so that
you're lulling us to sleep is what you're doing.
No,
you're lulling us to sleep.
I promise you, I'm not even really with the Browns, man. I'm just a fan. Okay. And I'm really more a fan of Doug Peterson. Okay. For him, so one of my foundational things why people think I'm intelligent with offensive football, and people say, oh, the game's changed so much. I'm telling you, from pass protection standpoint, with Don Shula, what Paul Brown, what Bear Bryant, what Howard Schnellenberger, what Don Shula taught me foundationally on how to pass protect is ingrained and so successful. Doug Peterson was ingrained in that same foundational stuff with the great Don Shula, with the great Dan Marino, foundationally as his core early play. And I say that so enthusiastically because I got goosebumps thinking it. And then for him to be a player and get that experience under a Don Shula type system, and then to basically be tutelaged under the Andy Reid, Bill Walsh system, the two genius systems of the last 40 years. Doug Peterson has been involved in a direct day-to-day basis with all of them, with each one of them. There's nobody like that out there. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so you guys got it going with the man down there.
we love Doug down here, man. His approach, everything is great. We know he's a mastermind in offensive call and culture. Yeah. I mean, he really his psyche. Absolutely. I don't know if he's a psychologist, but he could play one on TV. He does a good job with that team psyche week in and week out for the most part. All right, Bern, how does Cleveland beat the Jags as we wrap up with you, man? How do the Brownies get it done this Sunday?
So if you look as you defensive guys do, you'll look at the previous 2 games, 3 games, you'll get a big breakdown going down, and you'll see that the Cleveland Browns have been heavy passing the rock the last couple weeks in particular. probably at a point where possibly the coach and people are getting a little criticism here in town for not running the rock enough.
Wow.
It was gorgeous weather the last 2 weeks in Denver and in LA. So maybe us QBs get a little arm eccentric and arm happy.
That's right.
It will not be there this Sunday. Okay. It will be miserable. So we need to run the ball. Okay.
Yep.
Don't make a mistake early, guys. Okay. Don't let your sore quarterback or third string quarterback have an easy field or give you an easy touchdown early. Let our good defense flourish at home. So really trying to, Coach Callahan, our offensive running game, even with our offensive line issues, man, we really run the ball good. Even without Nick Chubb, we're strong running the ball. So, I love how Joe Flacco spun the rock around last week, but I would temper that. And this is a guy who loves to throw. I would temper that this week because you guys know, hey, this is the time of year. It's December. This is not style. This is not aesthetics points. All that matters is at 4:05 on Sunday, one of us got a W.
That's right. You're right. All right, Bernie, you got a score? What do you think? A low scoring game? What are you thinking?
You know what? I am kind of thinking a low scoring game. I know Jax has been maybe a little bit of flack with their pass defense and stuff. Come to Cleveland, that'll heal pass defense. That swirling 25-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, and that mud field that we got spray painted green. Okay, that'll.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta look good for TV, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but trust me, that ain't green. That's not real grass.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Bernie, it's been a pleasure, man. Hey, if you want to tell us about your wellness products real quick, man, so other people could maybe hear you and
well, thank you. You know what? And it's really a lot what I'm doing now. I'll say it from a business standpoint, and I'll say it in levity, but I couldn't be here on a call like this, figuring out how to get onto a Zoom, talking to you. Not that I look good, not that I sound great, but I can at least enunciate, articulate, communicate now stuff that I wasn't able to really talk about in my past. So it's really out there now. Here we're in Ohio. We had 125 people die last week from the overdose death. We had almost 110,000 this year. September was Suicide Prevention Month. We had 22 veterans that will commit suicide today. I lost a great teammate of mine, Bob Dahl, committed suicide 2 months ago. Offensive lineman from Notre Dame, Chagrin High School. Blocked for me and stuff. So that a lot of us men, we have a hard time talking about what our issues are and that we have anxieties and issues. I mask mine and it's all pain, it's all physical, but there's mental stuff and anxiety, the things that go on. I'm T-Mac. I got 3 daughters myself and trying to make influence. Yeah. So me and Bees we were joking about the trilogy of that ourselves. So how we do and learn about that. So at Kosar Wellness and and coming out my Kosar coffee and that infused with vitamin D. But I really I'm a juicer, modified intermittent fasting. So putting vitamins and good supplements into me these days is food is your medicine and not taking pills, digestive enzymes, trace minerals, fermented super greens. Heck, in my coffee, I infuse vitamin D. You guys, I love our Florida roots. You guys get vitamin D and sun all day. In Cleveland, you won't see any sun when you fly up here. Jacksonville guys.
No, I know. Game. It's gray up there.
Get your vitamin D. Get your vitamin D beforehand.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
In Ohio, we got to find it in alternative ways.
There you go. There you go. Bernie, you sound and look great to us, man. We appreciate you being on the show.
Hey. Thanks. Hey, guys, I say a lot, and it's not just because of the University of Miami. I say you matter and stuff. And again, talking about some of the opiate issues and the veterans out there.
Yes.
And some of the serious issues of that. So I say you matter to people because of showing people that we care about them, showing especially the younger people self-confidence, self-esteem, having people to believe in themselves. Because you guys know when we believed in ourselves, look at the great things that we were able to accomplish. And now trying to spread hope and spread belief to people and telling people that they matter. So God bless you guys, man. Really.
Hey,
really
God bless you too, Bernie. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, buddy.
Anytime.
Call me anytime for anything, man.
We will. Right, we will, pal. All the best.
See you guys.
See you, man.
Love you, man.
Yeah, love you too. All right, that was an awesome interview with Bernie Kosar, the legendary Bernie Kosar, here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac, special edition with my boy Killer Bees, who's in the house, and brought to our friends at Team Tommy Mac. Go check them out. I have them posted all over social media. They will take care of you. They trust me to endorse them. They trust me with their business, and you should trust them as well, because that's how it works. A plus B equals C, man. Bees, what an interview with Bernie. What a legend that guy is.
Legend, of course. We grew up in the heyday with the U.
Yeah.
What was that, the 83 championship against Nebraska?
Yes, as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah. And it's like, I met Bernie a while ago, but then we saw each other probably about a month or two ago.
Yep.
And he just started talking about his products. But, just talking to Bernie, it's like you feel that, the respect comes down, even though we look up to someone like that.
No, I know.
We saw him on TV growing up.
I know.
And he's such a humble man. Like, he's a legend, like true legend.
When he was naming off the surgeries and I'm like, that's when quarterbacks weren't protected at all. I mean, you kill him. I mean, you could literally clothesline him, hit him in the face, land. I mean, you could do, no wonder, and maybe that is part of the reason why, look, we don't want, seizures. What he said, 18 seizures.
Wow.
For the concussions, all that stuff. Hey, we all love the glory. But, man, you don't want to end up 40 in a problem. 40 surgeries, dude.
I had ridiculous. One, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I had about 5 or 4. Yeah. But, yeah, man.
And you think we played a position where there's a lot more contact,
right?
Per se.
And not back then.
No, I mean, those guys played a different game. It was brutal. It's funny because I was talking about the other day, talking about the start of football.
Yep.
Back when, the 1920s.
Yeah.
And we don't realize how even physical it was back then.
Oh.
Where one of the rules was you could punch a man in the face.
Yeah. Eye gouge.
Once.
Yep.
One time per one play, one time. Right. Imagine that. You could punch somebody in the face one play.
Right.
One time.
Forearm them right in the nose.
Get back in the huddle.
Bloody
their
nose.
Again.
Yeah.
So,
that was
times have definitely changed.
It's
kind of scary. Do you think maybe it will be going to flag football?
I don't know, man. You hear a story about Bernie, you're like, man, I could see why now they protect QBs so much, maybe because that guy he took a pound. But what a great guy, man. He looked great to me, sounded great. He's been through a lot, but man, came out on the other side and we were happy to have him. I was really impressed. I didn't know prior to talking to him and doing a little research that he had to fight to go to the Cleveland Browns in that supplemental draft, man. They're suing him. Houston and Minnesota were going to sue him for not going into the regular draft, and he stuck to his gun, said no. And then they all backed off after they made the threat. And the Browns, by the way, the Browns traded for that number 1 pick in the supplemental draft under the radar, like nobody else knew about it. Oh. And then when everyone found out he's not going there, he's going to go to supplemental, they thought the fix was in. That's why this whole thing was going on.
Yeah, I can see.
Now you know why they love him.
Yeah, I mean, he's an Ohio guy. He's true blue Ohio, too. You can
no doubt.
The blue collar. I didn't know that about the West Virginia,
No, right. No, I didn't either.
Recruited.
Yeah.
And just think about that. Under-recruited, but then he goes to Miami, and right when they're about to take off as a
that was Schnellenberger's early years, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think they were on the map yet, were they? No. 83 they were.
83, I think they...
But he got there in what, 81 probably?
Yeah.
Bernie
got there. I mean, they won the championship 80.
Well, he was a red shirt, so he was redshirted. Then that redshirt freshman year was when he took him to the championship, which is really impressive. Yeah. But all right, well, we got a big task. 40 degrees and swirling winds at 20 miles an hour. We better get this running game going, Bees. And they're a tough defense. Now they do give up. Stats brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. Thank you, everybody. Yards per carry, 4.2.
Tommy Mac stats Inc.
4.2 yards per carry they're giving up.
So that maybe we can get something going there. ETN, I'm waiting for – I love him. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I love him out of the backfield. I love him carrying the ball, and he's a tough hombre. But we got to get him going a little bit more. He's only averaging like 3.8 yards a carry himself. That's not good. You got to get him in the 4 range. He should be 4.2, 4.3, 4.5 even if you can get him going.
I just think the continuity of the line hurts.
It does.
When you come in there every week, it's a different line. It's hard to have confidence in where you're going to make your cuts because we run a lot of zone.
We do.
So we're not really a power offensive line. So him being able to find that, put that foot down and go. It's not happening because he's having to stretch a lot of things out right now.
Well, I'm sure a lot of times when he goes, he gets hit.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're not blocking for him, you know what I mean? And it is timing. You're right. It's like, especially with zone blocking, they all move at the same time, and you're either going front. You have 3 ways to go, right? But they don't want you to lollygag. They're like, make the cut and go. Yeah. Right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, when you watch us, we do a lot of that. So teams are starting to see, he's going to cut back.
Right.
So now they're playing, they're being a lot more patient and getting across to that inside leverage.
What do you think about Trevor? It looks like, he may play. We've seen Mahomes do it in a half, right?
Yeah.
Grammage, you going to say good morning this morning? I know we were on with Bernie, man. Thanks for setting that up, brother. The esteemed producer of the show, Grammage, right here. His name's Graham, but I call him Grammage. Mm-hmm. He has nothing. It has nothing to do with drug dealing at all. At all.
No,
at all.
Not.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I just call him Sandwich. You're in when you got a nickname. You know what I mean? Once you got the nickname. When Bernie called me T-Mac, I was like, oh man, I'm in with Bernie.
One of my most popular ones has been Grambo.
Rambo. All right. How you doing?
Fantastic. Happy Friday. I don't believe Trevor's going to play, but the fact that it's even a consideration is unbelievable.
Yeah, that thing.
His ankles need to be donated to science.
Yeah.
His body, because
it's ridiculous,
bro. His knee last year.
And the knee, yeah.
I thought his knee was going to be on Mars, and then the next he comes out at halftime. He's like, "All right, I'm good."
Yeah, the ankle. That last part of it when it kind of snapped a little bit. I thought, ooh,
I thought he broke it.
Me
too.
You got 320 pounds of Walker Little falling on top of his ankle. I thought he broke it.
Yeah,
100%.
Thank goodness he didn't, because he would not be playing.
And you see that?
Well, and he came out, and look, he didn't call him out. He's just saying like, the timing was off. And if the timing was on, I don't get hit. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the receiver, it's him too. It's everybody, being in sync in timing. And if everything was, in sync, he wouldn't even gotten hit. I think that was a frustration.
To hear these words, I always bring them up all the time, like timing and rhythm.
Means everything.
Choreography.
Yep.
Because every play has to be run exactly the way you practice it.
It does.
And that's why, I try to teach my D-backs. If you just get a hand on somebody, you mess up rhythm and timing from all they practice on.
Yeah.
Because they practice on air a lot.
Let me ask you why I got you on here, and I love having you on here. The whole do you call the penalty? Do you not call the penalty? Like the holding call. Some people are like, that shouldn't have been called. I'm like, well, if the guy sees the tug, he's going to call it. But when is hand fighting okay? Like, give me your definition. Hey, let them hand fight, but you can't hold their arm down when the ball comes, right? Or you can hand fight all you want, but once the ball comes, you can't be like hand fight. Or just how do you look at it with that thing?
It's dicey because you don't really see the OPI called a lot,
right? And
a lot of it is caused by the receiver. When I'm running with the receiver, and he can just
put he can do that
little bit,
right?
And the way quarterbacks throw the ball nowadays, open is like tight coverage.
Right.
College is a little bit different, but in the NFL, these guys throw the ball right where they want.
Yep.
And if I can just get a little bit of a nudge and give myself a yard.
Yep.
So I actually went to a referee clinic. I was at the NFL referee clinic, and that's the first thing I brought up. I was like, when is a ref going to get in position to actually see it? Because if you're on the outside,
you can't see it with the body. You can't see through the body.
So my thing was like, maybe you need to add another official where these two guys are inside.
Gotcha.
And they can see what's going on because the receivers push off just as much.
No, they do.
As a running or as a D-back is grabbing.
Yeah. A bigger emphasis needs to be placed on OPI in the first place. Let's all be honest.
Yeah.
An official that's watching a 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
They're not, in their mind, they are not thinking about looking for an offensive pass interference.
No.
They're not.
No.
Unless it is obvious.
Exactly.
It has to be painfully obvious to where they mentally have to switch to like, okay, I'll call it.
Yeah.
You're looking for what the DB is going to do wrong.
I'll tell you the one I don't like at all. The whole run down the field, I got coverage, the ball's underthrown, he stops, I don't have a chance to stop, and they call interference. I'm like, that's the inadvertent. We've been talking about inadvertent, adding inadvertent content, like even with when you accidentally hit a player in the head. There's deliberate and there's inadvertent. And inadvertent's 5 yards.
We all know a dirty hit when we see it versus versus a football play. Like everyone knows it when they see it.
Exactly.
So anyway, I was just curious on that.
Prime example, look at that Alabama touchdown against Auburn.
Yeah.
That little bit of push.
Isaiah Bond got a little bit of separation.
That little bit of push caused that separation.
Absolutely.
By the way, you're talking about NFL throw.
That was
That's one of the best throws I've ever seen.
That was unbelievable.
In the bucket.
I thought
from the other side, right?
Yes.
I thought it was going into the stands.
No, I know.
He threw it on a line.
He did.
Man, he threw that ball.
That was incredible. You're right. They're right. They're never going to call it for the defense.
Well, we want to see points.
Yeah, they want points. They want points, and they don't want their quarterbacks.
We play defense because we're such unselfish guys,
All right, Beach. Yeah, exactly. All right, how do we beat the Browns, man? Amari Cooper's pretty bad to the bone. Njoku, the tight end, and get down the field. The running game is pretty good overall.
Good running backs.
Hey, and Flacco. You just heard, Bernie, he can whip it still. And if you give him time like Jake Browning had, that was the one thing, like all game long for the most part, other than Josh Allen getting his sacks and the pick and whatnot, he had all day long to throw. You got to pressure. But how do they beat him?
Well, we're going to have to run the ball, like you said, and it's going to be tough because they are one of the best defenses in the game.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be a physical blue-collar game because they're on their third quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, who knows if Trevor's going to play? But at the same time, the field conditions aren't going to be where you can throw the ball out.
Here's the thing, though. To me, that's the blueprint to beat the Jags this year. Out physical them, and you're going to win.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, it's been shown. Now, that doesn't mean we're not tough guys. I know we are, but hey, man, look. San Fran out physicaled Philly last week. I mean, beat them up.
That's
You're like, how does that happen? Right? Even with that defensive front, like Fletcher Cox doesn't get beat up. Jordan Davis, you kidding me? You can't move the guy. But they did.
Yeah.
They took it to him.
They came in there with that attitude.
But we got to match that.
Attitude.
Yeah, we got to match it. And, and I'm not, look, Brandon Sheriff's a great player, but and Cam's out, so that fire part is out. You know what I mean? Walker's just not a fiery guy. He just goes about his business. It's fine. But Sheriff, man, come on. You're the violent one. Yeah. You got to be violent, and that's got to be contagious to your center. Then it goes over to the guard, and then it goes out to the tackles. Like, that's the tone setter, right?
Well, that's going to be one of these games where it's going to be digging in from inside. Each player.
They need like in the first quarter, getting like a little bit of a beef, something.
Okay, I'm all for that.
I'm not talking a 15-yard penalty late hit, something that just like
right.
I'm not talking bench clearing, nothing like that. But just a little bit of like,
you know what, I like
face,
that idea.
push, like something. It's almost like training. You guys know it's like training camp.
Show some anger out.
You guys know it's like training camp when you're 2.5 weeks in.
Get mean and nasty, man.
Get
mean and nasty.
We had some nastiness.
We did, man. We had some swag and nastiness.
Like I don't see that nastiness on this team, because we had Double D. We had Brad Keon.
No, I know.
I would light somebody up once in a while, but we need.
No, I know.
We need that guy that goes in there and just.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see our offensive lineman lead the charge.
That would be
because we need an O-line that can start winning at the line of scrimmage if we're going to do something, towards. They got 5 weeks to get playoff ready. I think they win. But I'm going to call it like 17-16. I think this game's going to be really tight. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points scored. I don't even know if Trevor's playing. To me, look, high ankle sprain, it's just dealing with the pain. Can you handle the pain? Is it going to get any worse? Look, you can roll your ankle again. There's no doubt about it. It's going to hurt like crazy.
Vitamin T? Vitamin T.
K or something like that.
Toradol.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. But I think it's a close game. What do you got?
It's got to be close.
Yep.
I mean, like, they're going to, on their the fourth quarterback now. I mean, though Flacco knows the game, he can throw the ball.
Yep.
That's the reason I say we got to get him early because he's one of them guys, if he gets any flow going, because it's his second week, now he knows the offense.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to know the weaknesses of our defense because we don't do too much tricky stuff. We're kind of like a lineup.
Right.
We play the game.
His, look, he threw for, 50%, but that's coming off the couch like Bernie, and he threw 2 touchdowns, so he's capable of making the throw.
He's going to get better from last week.
He's still got an arm, but he is so immobile.
Oh, no doubt.
That he struggles to hand the ball off because he can't get to the running back fast enough.
I know.
He can throw it, though.
They've got some players at that running back position, so
that's the thing.
We'll see.
When you're going against a quarterback like this who's seen everything, you got to be good with your disguise. You can't let this guy know exactly what you're doing
or where to go.
If a guy can anticipate where to go, he can throw the ball quicker. He can get rid of the ball, and that takes away your pressure.
Yeah,
that nullifies a good pass rush.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, it's going to be look. This is a playoff game, playoff atmosphere. You got to take care of it.
The Super Bowl.
Listen, Houston's nipping at our heels, man. Our heels. They're nipping at our heels. They're coming. Right there, and Indy's coming up, too. You got to maintain that. I think they will. I think it's going to be a big-time physical matchup, and it's time for our boys to quit taking it, and you got to go give it to them. You got to deliver that punch. Yeah. Deliver the punch. Bees, great stuff, man.
Good to see you.
Me and Bees had a blast last night. Hey, every Thursday night at Graffiti Burger Bar in Jack's Beach, me and Killer, man, we bring you Tommy Mac's Happy Hour, and I just got confirmation on the 21st. We get happy, don't we?
Too happy.
Paul Pizlesny will join us on the 21st, so that's going to be fantastic. That guy, bad to the bone, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to jump on Jaguars today. If you want to check us out, 1010XL.com, 92.5 FM, or on the AM dial, 1010XL. This has been Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast, brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. Till next time, stay safe and be cool, and have a great weekend. And LFG Jags! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Peace and love.